So I had a lot of positive feedback from my last video when I finally did some FaceTime. A lot of you guys like to be able to put a face with the videos, so I thought I'd do it again. I'll try whenever I can do a little introduction before I start in on the video itself. Today, you'll notice that most of my videos I do involving the milling machine, I use a digital readout because I have one, and they're really cool. They work great, save a lot of time, but I realize that not all you guys have digital readouts. Some of you guys are struggling with dials, and that can be a struggle because when you work with dials, you have to know about backlash and how to compensate for it. So today, I'm going to turn off the digital readout, and I'm going to show you guys how to mill a simple pocket using dials only, how to set up and how to compensate for the backlash. So from here on in, you won't be seeing me anymore because I'm going to go handheld on the camera just so I can see all the different things that are going on, or so you can see it. So let's get started. So here's what we're going to be doing, just to mill a simple 1-inch square pocket in a piece of aluminum using a 1/4-inch end mill. And like I said, we're going to be using dials instead of the DRO. So let's get started on that. First thing we need to do is we need to pick up the two edges, the X and the Y edge of the part. And I'm just going to use an edge finder for that. I'll show you how to do that with dials. Usually I do it with a digital readout, you know, compensate for half the diameter on that, but we'll do the same thing on the dial. We'll start with the X-axis here. There you go. Going to be a little awkward. Alright, first thing I'm going to want to do on the dial is loosen the dial so it's free. Okay? And then we'll just move the edge finder in until it touches the block and kicks out. Right there. Alright, you see how it kicked out to the side? Alright, now you go back to your dial. And I know that edge finder is 200 thousandths in diameter, so we have to offset our dial 100 thousandths from zero. Right about there. Okay? So now, if I retract the edge finder, okay, and move the table back to zero, okay, I'm moving it toward me. Now, if you look at the edge finder, you'll see it's centered over the edge of the part. Alright, so that's one edge. Now let's do the other edge. I'm trying to hold this thing still because I know it's kind of hard to watch. Close-up shots that move. Alright, I've loosened the dial. Okay, dial's free. Now we'll just back the table out till the edge finder kicks off to the side, like right there. And same thing over here. Offset the dial 100 thousandths, half the diameter of the edge finder, lock it down. Okay, then we'll move the table 100 thousandths toward me, toward the edge finder, like that. So now it's on zero. Both edges of the part are zeroed out. Okay. Now, this pocket that I laid out is 1 inch in from each edge. Okay, so let's move over 1 inch on the X-axis. These are 200 thousandths per turn, so there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's 1 inch. So now we should be centered over the center of the pocket. We are. Now let's do the same thing for the y-axis. I've already moved that. Let me start back at the edge. Okay, that's right there is the edge of the part. Alright, let's move over 5 turns on this one, or 1 inch. Just counting turns, 200 thousandths per turn. Right there. Okay, so now we've moved over 1 inch in each direction, and we're now centered on the area that we want to cut our pocket. Okay, so now I'm going to switch out the edge finder for an end mill, and I'll show you how to cut the pocket. Okay, so now I've put a 1/4 inch end mill in the spindle. Alright, so this pocket is 1 inch square, so we have to do a little cutter compensation here. We're gonna have to mill a 1/2 inch on all sides of the center location of the pocket, less half the diameter of the end mill. We have to compensate for the end mill. Okay, so the way I do this normally is I'll take the overall dimensions of the pocket, 1 inch by 1 inch, subtract the diameter of the end mill, 1/4 inch in this case, so that'd be 3/4 of an inch, and then divide by 2, which gives me 3/8 of an inch. So I have to move 3/8 of an inch along each axis to reach the edge of the pocket. So let's do that. Let's start out with, we'll move back 3/8 of an inch to the back edge of the where I want to cut the pocket. Okay, so we're starting in center on 0. So if I move 3/8 of an inch, that's 200 thousandths, 300 thousandths, okay, 350, 375 right there. Dials are all about counting. You know, sometimes you count forward, sometimes you count backwards. Okay, in this case we counted backwards, but it's the end result's the same. What it did is it put the end mill on the back wall of the pocket. It's hard to see now because it's not spinning, but I guarantee you the end mill lines up with the back of the pocket. Okay, but to rough out for a rough cut, we don't want to take that whole 3/8 of an inch or whole 375 in one cut. We want to leave it a little bit left for a finishing cut. So I'm going to back off 10 thousandths. Instead of 375, we'll make it 365. Right there, 350, 365. Okay. Now you notice when I moved back, I went past where I wanted it to end up and then came back to it. Well, what I did there is I compensated for the backlash in the screw. All screws have a certain amount of play in them, and that play is called backlash. Okay, so you'll see you see that with this movement here is not doing anything to the table. It's not moving the table. Okay, all that is just play in the screw. So we have to compensate for that. Otherwise, we'll end up with a part that's a hole that's too small or an external dimension that's too big. So, and I'll show you how to do that here shortly. Let's go back to our 365. Okay, right there. All right, now I'm gonna mill a slot in this location. So let's go ahead and do that. This is going to be a little challenging. I don't really care about the depth, so let's just go down a couple 100 thousandths. And we'll mill a little slot within our pocket. I'm going to take a little more off. I'm going to go to 370 just so I can get an accurate read on that back of that pocket. Okay, so this should be about 5 thousandths short of my finished location. Right? We wanted to end up at 375 and we're at 370 now. 350, 360, 370. Okay? So we're about 5 thousandths short on that back side. Okay, now let's pull the end mill out. Now if we do the same thing to the front, put this down where you can see it. we do the same thing to the front. We go back to our 0 point, right there. Okay. Now remember, when we use the edge finder, we turn the dial counterclockwise, and we ended up at 0 like this. Okay. And we did the back cut. We didn't have to compensate for backlash, but now we're going to the front. Okay, so we have backlash that we have to deal with. So if I go 3/8 of an inch to the front, 375 like that, what we're going to do is we're going to end up a little bit short. So let me show you how to compensate for that. Let's just do the same thing I did on the back. We'll stop 5 thousandths. Well, let's see. Let's rough it at 10 thousandths short. 365. Let's go ahead and do that. I'm just doing exactly the same thing we did on the back. Staying away from the edges of the pocket because we'll finish those up later. Okay, now we could go to 370, just like I did on the back side. Take another cut. All right, now we're 5 thousandths short. We're 5 thousandths short on the back, and if there wasn't any backlash, we'd be 5 thousandths short on the front. But now what we can do is we can measure that, and we can find out by taking an actual measurement of these two cuts. We can tell exactly how much backlash this screw has. So this is going to be challenging. Let me go ahead and measure this. Let's think about what it should be first. Okay, if we move 360 thousandths in each dimension, each direction. Well, let's do it this way. The overall dimension in the pocket's supposed to be 1 inch, but we stopped 5 thousandths short on each edge, so we should be 990 thousandths wide. Okay. Let's see how close we got. Okay, I'm holding the camera in my right hand. I'm holding the calipers in my left hand. This is going to get ugly. It should be 990 thousandths, and it is, near as I can tell, about 972. Okay? That means we have 18 thousandths of backlash in our screw. So what we need to do is we need to go 18 thousandths farther on this front cut. And let me show you how I do that. I have a Sharpie handy. And what I'll do is I'll go 18 thousandths past where I wanted to stop. Okay, so that's 10, 18 right there. That's our new stopping point. And I'm going to put a mark right there, just so I can remember. You got to realize that sometimes these pockets aren't nice 1 inch square dimensions. Sometimes they're rectangles, sometimes they're, you know, combination L-shaped pockets and stuff. So I always put a mark to allow for my backlash. Another thing you have to realize, I haven't used dials in probably, I don't know, maybe 35, 40 years. So I'm not real proficient at it, so be patient with me. Okay, so now let's go take another cut on that front. Let's take another cut on this front of the pocket here at our new dimension. Okay, and that should open that pocket up to 990 thousandths where it should be. Okay, so now we should be like if there were no backlash, or if we were using the DRO, we should be at 990 thousandths. And we are. I don't know if you can see that. Yep, 990. Okay, so we've compensated for that backlash. So now I can do the same thing on these other two sides. So let's go ahead and do that. Okay, starting from the center. About there. Okay, we want to go to 300 and, what did I say, 365. Well, actually 360 for the first cut. And now we know where to stop because we have the other cuts made already. So we stop this one on 365 right there from before. So that puts the end mill touching the back edge of the pocket. Okay, now we'll take our extra another 5/1000ths off. Out to 365 or 370. Sorry, right there. Whoop. 370 is where we want to be. Okay, now this way we stop on our magic marker. Okay, that's the front edge of the pocket, right to that magic marker mark. Okay, now we'll go the other way. Go back to 0 first. There's the center. And then 1, 2, 3, 365. Okay, we stopping in 375 in the back. Okay. We'll go back up to the start of it again to our mark, our magic marker mark. That's the front of the pocket. And we'll move over our last 5/1000ths. Well, actually, yeah, our last 5/1000ths like that. Okay, to 370. Take a clean up cut. Okay, now we have to check this dimension because the backlash is not going to be the same in all screws. So let's see what this one comes out. The other one came out to 372 at this point. This one comes out to 972. This one comes out to 953. And it was supposed to be 990. So we have 37/1000ths backlash in this one. Okay, a little bit different. So we got to go 10, 20, 30, 7/1000ths and put a mark. That's our new stopping point. Go back up the front again. stopping at 370 in the back, just like we did the first time. So now, we measure this, we should get our 990 dimension. Okay, and we did 991, close enough. So now we're on location, we've compensated for the backlash in both screws. Now we can just go around and take that extra 5/1000ths of an inch off all the way around. Now first of all, I guess we should probably clean the center out since this is a pocket. So let's go ahead and do that. And sorry if the camera's bouncing, I'm doing the best I can. You know, at this point you'd also want to go down to full depth. You know, if you're taking like a finished cut on the depth, you want to take that down to size. So now we'll start in this lower left corner. Okay, we'll back the X screw out to all the way out to 375. You can hear it just starting to take a little cut. We're taking this last 5/1000ths off. And then the front one here we'll move 5/1000ths past our blue mark that we put on there. Right there. That blue mark was just for our locational pass, our roughing pass. This is the finished pass. So this way we're going to stop on this 5/1000th past this blue mark. Right there. So now we're taking 5/1000ths off this left wall. This one will stop to the back. We'll stop at 375. There's 50, 60, 75. You can hear it just starting to cut as it takes that last 5 off. Okay, and this way we stop at 375 right there. And take our final pass. Stopping 5/1000ths past our blue mark. Right there. Okay. So now, if all went well, we should have a 1-inch square pocket here. Let's check it out. Okay, 1" 2 by 1" 2. Okay. So that pocket's to size. We've compensated for the backlash in our X and Y lead screws, and we should be good to go. That's backlash compensation done without the digital readout. See you next time.